What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg Albert here. Day 3 of watching Stranger Things Season 2. So I'm still sick. My ear's still ringing like a mother F word. Finally made it to the last episode. So with the show concluding, I got a couple of predictions right. I feel like the situation with Bob is probably a situation a lot of people were probably guessing that he would die. I was really proud of myself on my play-by-play on how a lot of things turned out on that situation. I did a pretty good job there. The one thing I really thought of how it would end would be Jonathan and Nancy not getting together, and then she goes back with Steve. But it didn't turn out that way. So show proved me wrong there. Good job, show. I really don't get the point of Red Ranger being in this show. I don't really get the point of Max other than serving as another love interest for Lucas, or to have the love triangle thing. Kind of reminded me of it just a little bit. Some really big pros I love with what they did with the season was the involvement of Steve. Steve is a character I really didn't like in the first season, as the show intended for a good portion of it. And then in this season, he's kind of become one of my favorite characters, I think. I think it's a pretty solid finale for what this season is and what the story of the season is. In terms of the entirety of the season, if I don't compare it to season 1, I still think it's pretty good. I like the way it built. Episode 7 is something I've heard that people complain a lot about with the spin-off pilot thingy. It didn't ruin the season for me at all. I still really enjoyed it, but there's something, even when they all succeed in the end, I didn't feel that full, victory feeling or accomplished resolution type of feeling that I was hoping I would feel. There seems to be a lack of impact. I mean, sweating the thing out of Will, just put him in a sauna and tie him down. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of weak. I guess there's nothing else. I'm not imaginative enough right now to come up with something cooler they could have done. One thing I love about Stranger Things is their problem solving and really having to take down a hard obstacle scenarios. And in this scenario, it seems like a pretty easy thing to have gotten this thing out of Will. This thing that's been causing so much trouble is, all he has to do is sweat it out. It's a tough process for him to endure. It's painful for him to endure, sure. It's not hard for the other characters to really work with. All they gotta do is keep the guy tied down and put him in a hot ass room and you're pretty set. And whereas the first season left off in a way where it felt like this chapter was concluding, but there's still room for more, I kind of feel like the show could end here. I know it's not going to. It's definitely not going to. I just think that it ends in a way where it could pretty much end right here, with a nice little tease that the Upside Down is still around in case they want to do more. I like how it ends with 11 still being around, because for a second there when she was closing it, I thought that she might actually go away again, which kind of would have annoyed me, so I'm glad that she's still around. I'm interested to see what they'll do with season 3. Is 11 going to eventually be going to regular school with these guys? Is 11's sister going to come into this season? Are they going to actually do that spinoff? And I don't know how people felt about the Demogorgons having that kind of Aliens vibe, where instead of one, there's a bunch of them now. They're younger, so they're not all as strong because they're younger, but they're scary because they're in large quantity. So I don't know how audiences have been responding to that. I thought it was a pretty cool touch, actually. I like that addition, but next time around, I want to see more new things. I like the whole quantity touch. It does pay tribute to Aliens in that retrospect. I still want to see more new creatures this time around and get to know more new things. And I think with this season, I guess why, if I am going to compare it to season 1, I guess why I don't feel like it's as tightly woven. The first season had a pretty specific focus. It was detailed, and there was a lot of stories going on in it, but it all centered around one thing, which is Will is missing, and everyone has one central goal, which is to find Will. And here, there's kind of a bunch of different stories going on, and they're all in their own directions. They're all kind of linked to everything that's happened in season 1, and then to the Upside Down, and yada, yada, yada. But they're all a bunch of separate stories that are not have this one unifying circle to it throughout. By the time they all come together, I think by episode 8, it started feeling like a little bit rushed on concluding things, just a little bit. It's not to a point where it's a disappointment. It's just a little feeling I have. Whatever, it's just my feelings. Don't worry about it. Man, my ear is just so ringing, so loud. So loud right now. So I just felt a little over the place. Of course, it all does come together in the end. It just didn't feel as tightly woven or as strongly knitted. I don't know what the correct analogy or phrases here to use, but I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say right now. I guess another missing feeling to me was the impact of the group of kids. There was Will and Mike, who were kind of separate from the rest of the gang. One theme it kept toying with in this season, which I appreciate, is, you know, how friends don't lie. And everyone in this season was like, a lot of people are lying to each other in this season, and especially with the main boys. And I kind of didn't feel that's, you know, when season 1 ends, you like love those boys and you feel like they are the centerpiece and the integral part to what makes this show so strong. By the time this ended, I appreciated Eleven and I appreciated Steve, and I thought the adults did a lot more work. The feeling of the kids felt way more like supporting characters this time around as opposed to leading the series, which is an element I kind of feel like I missed out on a bit. And also, this is just my first time watching this, so I feel like this might be one of those seasons that will grow on me over time. This is my initial impressions. I have yet to hear what everyone else is saying about the show. I did like it. Overall, I would say I really enjoyed the hell out of it. There are some great suspenseful moments. There are moments that really had me move. Even though there's some characters would have liked to have spent a little bit more time with or had evolve a little bit more in the show, I still enjoyed hanging out with everyone here. I like the inclusion of Bob. There's a few things here that I didn't really like or that I didn't feel was as strong, but overall, I would still say it was a damn good season, and I'm excited for season 3, and I can't wait to go to bed now. Hey, you guys can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Please click that notification bell. While you're at it, go check out our Patreon. Become a Patron Eject today, because everything over there is really helping keep this channel alive, and plus there's some awesome reward tiers for you guys as well.